Welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. Martin Luther King once said, "We are not makers of history, we are made by history." And joining me today is somebody whose history is woven into the fabric of our nation and Arlington. Welcome, Dr. Alfred Taylor Jr.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I feel silly introducing you because so many people know who you are, but you wrote a book that really went into detail about not just who you are, but the history of our community. So tell me some of the history.
My book is really concentrating on the Nauck community of Arlington, which is the Arlington's oldest African-American community of which I was born. I wrote my book because as I was a substitute teacher after I retired from the university. At Black History Month, they gave the assignment continuously to write essays on the national. And it occurred to me that we had local heroes or people right in our neighborhood who had made contributions both locally and nationally. So I said, why not? Because people do not pass down stories anymore. Why not I write a book so that the kids coming up will know some of the pioneers that came before me?
And this is the book you wrote, Bridge Builders of Nauck and Green Valley. And this is actually a historical document that you create from the history of Freedmen's Village, the history of Arlington as it was first founded, and you tell me about the couple that came from Mount Vernon and purchased land that is now Nauck and Green Valley.
Okay, in 1801, couple Levi and E.B. Jones had their freedom from Mount Vernon, or George Washington's estate. They had a son named Levi who married a lady named Sarah. So Levi and Sarah Jones purchased 14 acres of ground in what is now Arlington County, but at that time was Alexandria County.
Let me just remind viewers who just on the dates here, you said that was in 1802. So now they subdivided that land. They were farmers. They were into agriculture. But at the same time, when there were so many people who were freed or released from service, that community grew. It grew into a vibrant African American community.
As different freed men and women came to the community, or Sarah and Levi Jones would sell them a piece of ground.
Right.
Not with the sole intent that they were creating the community, but they were doing, I guess, what was called humanitarian thing at that time to provide space for other African-American females.
And in doing so, they had to have a way to get together, to gather and to share ideas and family history, and that really focused around the churches.
Very well. The first church, they built a one-room building on their property, and it became the Lomax AME Zion Church. Though in the day, they used the building for school, and at night they used it for business and community gatherings and things of that nature. We cannot talk about the Nauck community unless we talk about the churches, of which there are 4 major churches that I call anchor the Nauck community. On the southeast, the Lomax AME Zion Church, that originated in 1866 in Freedman Village and located in Nauck. On the northwest is Mount Zion Baptist Church, which also originated in 1866 in Freedman's Village.
Amazing.
On the southwest, there's the Macedonia Baptist Church, who was originated in the Nauck community in 1908. Incidentally, it was organized and started in my wife's grandparents' living room, who are really named a lot of things after them in the Nauck community, Bond and Amanda Johnson.
Well, in addition to the churches, and also fast forward to segregation and the time when you were growing up here in Arlington, people don't necessarily think about how Arlington was divided, but it also developed a robust community in terms of the pharmacy, you mentioned the schools, and leading professionals. So tell me a little bit about that.
As a robust community, because the blacks had to do their own, and they had to create an environment because the white community did not welcome them. So a lot of the blacks had to create their own businesses, like the drugstore. They had different kind of stores, restaurants, mostly service types of business, cosmetology, hairdresser, barbershops, and things.
So the real secret of who lived and grew up in Nauck is right here in your book. 100 photographs, hundreds of stories that link to other stories. So how do people get your book so that they can get into the details of Nauck and Green Valley's history?
My book is available at most bookstores. You can purchase it at most bookstores, the Amazons, the Barnes & Noble.
Well, let me just tell you, you can also get it at Arlington's library, but you have to request it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Taylor, for coming and sharing your stories. I hope you'll come back again and honor us with your presence and more of your stories.
I'll be glad anytime I can do a service. Please call me back.
You betcha.
Good.
And I want to thank all of you for watching the Sustainable Scoop. I'm Miriam Gennari. Back to the news desk.